Hmm. Anyone mind if I jump on this trending topic?
Knock, knock, it's Knuckles.
Hello everyone and welcome to another editorial video. Hopefully this one's going to be better than the last one because I finally have some bullet points that I can talk about. Anyways, this is going to be about the quote-unquote speculation. Actually, I really can't say quotes on those, but the speculation that there might be a Sonic Adventure remaster in the future. And this comes off of an article that will be linked in the description down below because it's actually a really good read if you want to find out some cool things about Sonic Adventure. Like, I didn't even know there was this one piece of road in Windy Valley that was in the original, and it makes me wonder what the rest of it could have looked like, or the fact that not only did Sonic Team have to get the West accustomed to the name of Dr. Eggman, they had to get the East accustomed to Tails instead of Miles for Miles Tails Prower. So that was a very interesting thing to find out. So yes, this is the article where so many people have been talking about the Sonic Adventure remake that Iizuka says that he would have wanted to do now that he looks at Sonic Adventure so many years later. And this is pretty much my opinion on it. And I'm going to start with, I don't think this is exactly confirmation or anything to speculate on or anything to start some kind of rumor on, because if anything, this is just someone looking back. The whole article is just somebody reminiscing on a video game that they had a hand in with development and saying, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that if I looked at this something so much later, but like, yeah, I would have completely, it makes me want to redo that because I know I could do so much better. I know that with the technology that we have, Adventure can be so much better. I'm pretty sure that's what the whole idea of that last thing that Iizuka said. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it is. So, I mean, it has nothing to do with a game being confirmed. It has nothing to do with a game that can be speculated on. It's just one of those things of, he sees his work over 20 years later, and now he's looking at it as if, wow, I really could have done something more with today's technology. Looking at all of the rough edges that this game had, I really want to remake it. Let me cut myself off right there because that didn't come out right. Like, looking at a game so much later, and it's like, well, if I really wanted to remaster it, I would fix a lot of those issues with it. And that's pretty much all it is. It's one of those things where a creator or someone who works on a project, they look at it so many years later, it's like, wow, this is terrible. Or this is not exactly as I would have liked it to be. I could have done so many things differently. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of you who do like something creative, whether it's a drawing or music, you look at some of your older work and it's like, I would have done things so much better with that piece of art or that music. Now that I have the capabilities of, now that I've improved over time. Okay, I'll say that. So yeah, and I mean, if we ever did get our Adventure remake, the biggest thing would be the improvement with the graphics, the FMVs, like everything would look so good. But the thing is that I'm not entirely sure if this would be a faithful recreation of Sonic Adventure because, well, I mean, let's just say this, that with the way that remakes are these days, not everything from the original is ported over. Final Fantasy VII is getting a remake, but it's going to be a completely different gameplay style than the original turn-based RPG. I believe the Crash Insane trilogy uses physics from, I think, Crash 2, as opposed to using physics from their respective games. Instead, they all use the exact same game's physics. The same thing could be said with, this is not a remake, but Super Mario Maker, that gives you multiple visual styles, and each one has their own gameplay differences, although I think New Super Mario Bros. U has, like, all of them put together. But, what I mean is that, like, you have different visual styles, but the jumping, like, Mario's weight is all based on the New Super Mario Bros. Games, as opposed to being from Mario 1, Mario 3, Mario World, and New Super Mario Bros. Series, only because it was so different. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it. And then on top of that, has Sega really delivered on a sequel or a reimagining of something? Like with 2D Sonic, I hate to bring up Sonic 4, but you know I'm going to, where Sonic 4, and I know it's a Dimps thing, but still, they okayed this. where people were saying that, oh, it's not the classic style. It's like, I'm okay with it not being the classic style, but it just didn't feel right. Even if it wasn't the classic style, it just didn't feel right. Even though you could say Sonic 4 Episode 1 seems like it took things out of Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, so we'll go on with that. Even with boost formula games, I mean, let's think about Unleashed. There were 3D sections, there were 2D sections, there was drifting, there was all of this stuff that you can do. You kind of had to dial it back a bit and make it mostly 2D for Sonic Colors, but then when you went to Generations, you're just like, alright, let's improve everything from Unleashed. It looks and plays really well. It really plays well. And we just make our levels around it so it's not just boosting, it's boosting and platforming. So yeah, we have that as well. But then we get to Sonic Forces, and well, you can have your own opinion on Sonic Forces. Mine is that they just completely stripped down the boost formula to make it very, very easy, which I feel like is more of an insult to the fans rather than saying you can dash like a maniac. I mean, I think that's just an insult, but you know what? That's not the place. This is not the place for that discussion. We're here to talk about adventure. One of the other things that I thought about when I was like, okay, so if we ever do actually get a Sonic Adventure remaster, how is the writing going to hold up? And the answer is, it's not going to hold up that well. Let's think about this. Some of the things that are said in Adventure, especially Sonic's one-liners, they seem to be a product of their time. They seem to be, yeah, pretty much a product of their time. That's all I could say. Like, Sonic saying he's just a hunk of cheesy hardware or a bunch of cheesy hardware. I think the first one was the proper one. I'm, like, doing everything off the top of my head. But it's, like, one of those things that, like, when will you ever hear that? You might hear it at some point, but, I feel like that a lot of the writing might... I just have this feeling that it's going to get new scripts for it. Like, they're going to have all new lines for it. They're going to change up the dialogue completely, and I just feel like it won't have the same effect that Sonic Adventure had. And even with that, there is no guarantee that the voice cast will remain the same, because they could just, instead of using the same voice clips that they've already had, because you got to remember, that stuff was like, sometimes they were way too close to the mic like this, and other times they sounded like this, where it was alright, it was okay, but the times where they were too close to the mics, it'd be like, okay, that might not work. And a lot of those had to do with like Knuckles' dialogue and Dean Bristow's dialogue at the very end of Tails' storyline. So I have a feeling that not only will they not be able to redo those voices, because again, Dean Bristow's not with us anymore, but I have a feeling they might use their current cast, so you're going to have Roger Craig Smith as Adventure Sonic. I don't know if you want that or not, and I'm going to be honest, no offense to Roger Craig Smith, I have nothing against you. I just don't think you can do it. I'm sorry, but that's all I have to say. Ryan Drummond is the perfect Adventure Sonic, in my opinion. So, I don't think that it's going to work. But I know that people would be wanting to say how gameplay may improve, but then there's always that chance that gameplay might not improve. People want this, other people don't want this. Where am I at? I am not in the negative about this. If somebody were to tell me, well, you didn't want the Adventure remake, I don't want it yet. I feel like that if Sega or Sonic Team or whatever the developer is going to be this time, because I believe there was a bit of restructuring in the for Japan, like Sega of Japan, there was like restructuring, so like the development teams are a little bit different this time around. I would say work on a 3D game that has nothing to do with adventure. Don't call it adventure. Call it something else. Call it something so that way it can stand out on its own. So that way, if it's not great, like how some people view Sonic 06, and I don't mean the joke of they say it's Adventure 3. I refuse to believe that, because it is technically supposed to be a reboot of the series. Anyways, the point is that it can stand out on its own, and people would be like, okay, well, at least that wasn't Adventure 3, and end up hurting a lot of people and hurting the Adventure name itself. And then, let's say that game does well, then perfect. Go right ahead with the Adventure remake, or go ahead with the Adventure 3. But I feel like they should have one game to kind of give it a shot, and then go for the remake. I'm only saying this as someone who really loves Sonic Adventure, so the game means a lot to me. It's my favorite Sonic game in the series, so for me to just jump on and say, they can't do this, they should do this, it just means that I love Adventure so much that it would just hurt to see the name tarnished, or the era of Sonic games tarnished by a very, very poorly done sequel or remaster. Even though DX was glitchy, but it was still playable, and it was still, you could still tolerate it. But the point is that I'm not saying don't do a remake, but I'm not saying do a remake right now. I'm saying give it some time. Do not jump the gun on this remake. So if you got anything out of this, feel free to let me know what your opinions are in the comment section down below. If you like this style where I'm still kind of doing off the cuff, but I'm using like bullet points, I'll try to make them more coherent next time. But I really wanted to get my opinions out. My opinions out. So, with that said, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content I produce, if you want to see more content like this, let me know in the comment section down below. But if you want to see more content that I produce and you're not subscribed yet, join the Knux Club by subscribing to the channel. Click the bell icon to get notifications for new content. And at this time, I want to give a shout out to the members of Knux Club Plus, the people who have joined and are helping out the channel even more. They are Random Indolent, Kenneth Gutierrez, Mega Trafficone, and Tactical Discord. And if you want to join them, there's a YouTube gaming link down below, and some of the perks will be, well, a shout out at the end of each video, some sweet looking emotes that you can have on live streams and premieres, and you get an exclusive chat on my Discord server as well. So you can get potential updates on future videos. And if you want to find me on my social media accounts, you can find them in the description down below. And with that said, I hope you have a wonderful and safe day, and I'll catch you for the next discussion video. Wow, did I talk really fast in this one. So, hey, I try to shorten it as much as I can. Don't complain to me about 10 minutes. Take care.